right now. Bobby, remember what happened last time? During bucked
Mm-hmm.
up. Maria, I was doing bucked up. My stomach just started. We had to stop
Stop
the
the
stream.
stream.
We
Yep.
had to stop the stream so I can go to the bathroom.
I saw that. I was dying laughing at home. I was like, as soon as I saw the look on your face, and as soon as you said, "Hang on a minute," I'm like, "She's got to go now, man. She's got
You know,
to
I was
go."
trying to. I'm trying to finish the podcast, and I was like, I can't. I couldn't do it. I was like, Jesus. Oh man. Let me see. Let me find this. Let's make sure
I'm
we share
sharing it
it.
everywhere.
Yeah, I'm about to. I'm looking for it. My computer is a little slow sometimes. There it is. Hey, we almost there. It's almost that time. Got about 30 seconds on the left. 30 seconds on the left. I said our left. Lord Jesus, let me get my left again. We good, Bobby? And we are back. Another Lady Ball game today, and actually another Lady Ball win, which we're very happy to. So you don't know what we're going to do here on the Buck and 2MC show. We're going to talk about this game. Maria, tell everybody you said what's up.
What's up, guys? I'm left foot, right foot, and breathing out here.
Absolutely, I love it. I'm Coach Summit all day. We doing it. We doing it together. You see it, Maria? You see that?
I love that hat.
Doing it
I'm gonna
together.
need a hat with this hair because it's nothing's happening to it. I am a mess.
See, that's why I put it on. I got a little afro under here. But definitely want to give a special shout out and thank you to our sponsors, Orange Mountain Designs. Um, wait, Bobby, my bad. Who else we got? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
Orange Mountain Designs, Blue Water Climate Control Tap House.
Yep, Blue Water Climate Control and also Tennessee Tap House. Big thank you for that. Obviously, I'm in my Orange Mountain Designs hat, sweatshirt. Maria has the mask on. Make sure y'all go check out orangemountaindesigns.com or go down to that new store in Alcoa. Maria, do you have the address off the top of your head? I do not.
It's on Gill Street.
Yeah, that's right.
It's right behind the Kroger. If you turn at the Kroger in Alcoa, go about half a mile. It'll be on your left.
Y'all make sure y'all go support. Other than that, today we're going to talk about this ETSU game and get really into it. Maria, as always, you're there. Give the people a little feedback of what you saw and your feedback from coaches and players post game media.
The fourth quarter was not one you're going to want to watch again. I'd like that 10 minutes of my life back. To be honest, it was a lot of whistles, a lot of uneven play. Yeah, Tennessee won 67-50. Let's put that out there
Right.
immediately, right away. You get the win, you move on. But it's not a game that Tennessee was at its best. And Kelly Harper, like any coach, said, "I'll take the win, but I'm disappointed in how we played." And yes, it's a 17-point win, but there's a lot to clean up before they get to Sunday. What I can see Pat. What is he so happy about
I
back
think
there?
he just won. I think that he's leading in the game over there.
I can see him up on my screen. I don't think y'all can see him, and he's just
Sorry,
bouncing all
guys.
over the place.
Yeah, I think that's what that is. But what else you got for us, Maria, before we get into it?
Well, it's cold here. I don't know what the weather's like where y'all are, but it
So,
is cold in East Tennessee. So
well, it
it's
was snowing down there.
it snowed last night, early this morning, but it stuck on the ground, but it didn't affect traffic. So, but you know how Knoxville is when it snows. I mean, it is just panic mode.
Yeah, about like North Carolina, snow and rain here in North Carolina for some reason. I guess that's I'm thankful that I grew up where I grew up because snow and rain and narrow roads. That's how I grew up learning how to drive. But let's get back to the game. So you said you say in the fourth quarter you wish you could have got those 10 minutes back. Was it the turnovers? Was it sluggish play? Was it too fast, out of control? What happened?
It's not on the same page, and just turnovers that were unforced, and and a lot of whistles. And when there's a lot of whistles, that disrupts the flow of play,
Right.
and it gets in a team's head, and particularly when you're up, when you're going to win the game, and you could tell that they were just out of sync compared to Saturday. And some of the kids that did so well Saturday, they fell back to earth a little bit Tuesday night, and that happens in college basketball.
Yeah.
Every game you have got to be on top of your game, or you know how that goes. It's not always going to be. It's never an easy road. I don't care who your opponent is, and they overcame some things. Renaya played 4 minutes in the first half because of foul trouble.
Right.
She ends up with 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
So they did well. Ray Burrell just 20 points. She
He was
just
balling though.
continues. She is just at another level right now. So
Yeah.
shout out to Ray because she's getting it done on both ends. But Kelly will have a lot she wants to clean up between now and Sunday when they go to your old stomping grounds, your home state of West Virginia.
Hey, absolutely, and like you said, you have to be able to play through whistles, play through injuries, play through foul trouble. You have to be able to adapt and adjust and do it together. That's what practice is for. That's why it's important to take every possession at a time, and you have to pay attention to detail. That possession means something. Now, I know you say you don't win or lose a game off one possession. It's a lot of accumulated mistakes that happen. But then again, you could lose a game off one possession. So, or a mistake off that possession. So I think it's important that, Kelly, this week or leading up to the WVU game, it's important to get them to understand the importance of taking care of the basketball, which I'm sure she's going crazy, which I'm sure she is exaggerating, over reiterating in practice. But she and the coaching staff have to find a way for it to click for the girls. She knows as number 14 of 14, she was a beast at the point guard position. She knows the importance of taking care of that basketball and what it does for the momentum of your team. And now it's everybody else's job. It's not just the point guard's job or just the wing player's job. It's everybody. If you're on that court, you got to be able to take care of that basketball, finish plays, get it back. If you do make a mistake, hustle back, get it back. Because you're not playing for the game that you played tonight. You're playing to have a winning record. You're playing to look good against better teams. You're playing to get those important wins. These are just kind of preliminary to get us back into the role of actually being on the court and playing.
And they needed these two games at home, but
yeah.
they're really going to have to step it up because the next two games are West Virginia and Texas, and that's no disrespect whatsoever to Western Kentucky or ETSU. That's a step up in competition, and I will shout out the Bucks. I mean, they don't quit. Tennessee started out with a strong third quarter, and East Tennessee settled down, came back. Coach Brittany Easel, she played at Alabama.
Yeah.
She's a fun person to talk to. She's a great sideline coach, and she's like you. She wants to beat you at anything. So she didn't let her team go on a shell. And I mean, they lost by 17, but it could have been it could have been 30. And
easily.
So I shout out to Coach for how she had her team ready to go. Once again, a very young team coming in here.
Yeah, and that's important. It kind of just gets passed down, just like for obviously for me, Coach Summit, we were a reflection of her attitude, her competitiveness, her focus, and once the girls catch on to that with Kelly, oh man, I think we'll be sitting in a pretty good position. But it's going to have to happen. It's not something that we can kind of dance around because the goal when we're playing these first two games, we expected the first one to look a little ugly. And actually, it got better. It got better throughout the game. This is one game where you come and you're trying to score 100. You're trying to keep them below 40 or 30. You have to come at it with a whole different approach because when you play a WVU, when you play a Texas, when we get to that UConn game, it's nothing easy. So these teams who should not be able to be within 20 points or more, shouldn't be within 20 points or less of us. Those are the teams we have to go out and really get into them and really try to over excel on defense and rebounding and boxing out and spacing and playing together, player movement, ball movement, closeouts. The defense, we have to get better. You see, Marie, it just bothers me. Like, and I'm fresh out coaching, so right now I'm still kind of in like coach mode. But the defense is like, I couldn't tell you how many terrible closeouts where we run out dead feet, we lunge forward, and the player goes by. Or we're playing man to man and we reach and the player goes by. Stop it. I understand that their skill level is not on the level of lady ball basketball, but that's when you learn to move your feet. You take more charges. You do the little things on defense, take better angles, finish work on transit. I don't know. It's just so much for me. It starts on the defensive end.
Yeah, and I mean that's a Pat Summit team, and defense and turnovers. I mean, you know how Pat, but when she fell, and Kelly, in this day and age, coaches are a lot more diplomatic in a post game press conference. I mean, that's across the board. They're not going to call out a player at a press conference. They will say things that, I mean, Kelly will speak frankly, but it's not like the days of Pat Summit. If y'all played bad, Pat came to post game and
Called us
told
out.
us just how bad y'all played, and called out people by name. And I remember one game, I think y'all won, and she came in and threw her notes down, and because of the way it was played. So, I mean, those were fun, but that's not how coaches, that's not how you handle post game press conferences anymore. But Kelly pointed out things they did well,
Mm-hmm.
but the 24 turnovers is something that's going to jump out, not only because so many, but they were not turnovers because East Tennessee was just going after them. It was Tennessee making mistakes, and that'll drive a coach even crazier.
Well, yeah, that's a lack of focus. When it comes down to that, when you know that you can execute against a team or a player and you don't, that's focus. Now, if you're having a bad game, you're injured, you're sick, okay, understood. Have a seat, let somebody else come in and handle business the right way. But we're still early in figuring all that out as well. So I get it. I don't want y'all lady balls coming from my head like, oh my gosh, Lex only sees the bad things. No, I see the things that we're missing to be an actual championship caliber team again. And because I take so much pride in the orange and I take so much pride in being a lady ball, it means a lot to me. Any since I before I got to school, since I graduated, it matters what we're doing or what we're not doing. Because guess who hears it? Fans. Y'all may hear it, but y'all are hearing it really in the state or the cities that you're in. I hear it all from all over the world and other teams and other coaches. And it's no fun. It's no fun to have to be like, well, back, when we played, it wasn't like that. I'm sure Meek get that. Kelly probably well, it wasn't like that when I played. All the older players, but we're here. So how do we bring back that tenaciousness, that fear that people had from the Lady Ball, and bring it back? I don't know, Maria. What you think? How we do that?
It's going to take time. It really, and I mean, this is only year two for Kelly,
Yep.
and we are still in a pandemic, which I do not want to discount the effect. I mean, to look out at this team and they're spaced 6 feet apart on the bench. And so I mean you're not talking on the bench together. You can't. You have to stay spaced. It is and every team's dealing with it. So it is just such a weird year for sports. So and here we are in December and Tennessee's played 2 games and some teams haven't played yet because of contact tracing. So it's I've been looking around, games around the country. There's not a lot of defense being played anywhere right now. It's
It's hard. I like you say, the way the pandemic has everybody, you got to stay spaced. So even in practice, I'm sure that they're not right there. We were able to come off the court, talk to the coaches side by side, talk to each other side by side, push each other, encourage each other. And I'm sure it is different to have to either look back or not talk because you don't want to miss the game. You don't want coach to yell at you for not paying attention, but maybe your teammate has something good for you And I can definitely see that as a miscommunication and something that could affect the chemistry and the actual play of the girls on the court.
Yeah, all summer, I mean, you just had your own little box in your chair at practice. I mean, they didn't even have a locker room that they could go hang out in, and you had to stay in your little practice groups, and it and I think we're going to see that. I think the coach of Western Kentucky made a very good point on Saturday. He said the teams that you're going to see really do well early are those junior, senior, experienced teams. They
Mm-hmm.
put a lot of kids out there. They've been through all this. They don't need a lot of coaching in the game. They've done it. They've seen
Right.
it. When now you've got players out here who are making their debut at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
All 5 new faces. The teams that don't have that chemistry already are going to need the season to develop it. And Tennessee is going to need time to develop it. And of course, I know you, because of West Virginia, you're hoping they develop it here in the next 3 days
Oh,
because
absolutely. As a West Virginian that wore orange, I need my Lady Vols to win that one. WVU can have and Marshall, they can have any other wins they want, but not against us.
and yeah, there are bright spots. Jordan Horston, we talked about how she looked a little uneven, tentative. She played like Jordan tonight. She
Yeah.
came in there, she played her game, she got to the basket, she hit some shots, and so she seemed a lot more relaxed. And I have to remind myself she's just a sophomore. I mean,
Yes, still young.
so she's just a baby. Marta Suarez, she only took 1 free throw, she missed it. She was out here for 30 minutes after the game shooting free throws. She brought a manager out with her, and I mean, they're doing post game back there. She's not part of that, so she's out here on the court. So
Wow.
I like what I see. I like what they can be. And I preach patience all the time, and people don't believe me. This is going to take time.
Oh yeah. Time, and more time. It's like you said, they can't just go hop in the gym because if we played a bad game, or I'll speak for myself, if I played a bad game or shot bad, even if we got back late, I would come to TBA and shoot 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. And to hear you say that we have a freshman doing that is amazing. And a foreign freshman at that, she gets it. So that's the type of kid you just want to keep encouraging her to stay in the gym. But it seems like she's already has that mindset. But also, she played a little bit professionally, correct?
She played in a European league. She wasn't a professional player,
Right.
but
She
she's
couldn't
been
get
in that.
paid,
Yeah,
but she played out. Yeah,
she's
they do
been
that.
in that environment where it's just a different game overseas,
Yes.
and she reflects that.
Oh, absolutely. I saw straight European basketball on Saturday. Same here in this game. And I just like where she's at for a freshman. She's so level headed, the way that she approaches the game. Is she playing perfectly? Absolutely not. I'm still a big fan of Green because I just love her energy. Right. And Ray, she was killing it. Like killing it. At one point, I think she had 14 points and East Tennessee had 18.
Yeah, she
Like
raised at another level, and that's what happens. That's a 3rd-year player. She's had 2 years to figure it out, to
yeah.
understand, and by all accounts, she got in the gym this summer and worked on what she needed to do. But you're right about Marta. She had an entry pass to Cassie Kushkitawa that is not one of those things you notice, in the stat
Yeah.
box, but it was a beautiful pass. And she was standing there and then she just flicked it before the defense could even move. And those things are just innate with her. She understands how to play basketball.
It's called basketball IQ, and she has a pretty high one for her age. And I'm excited to continue to see her grow. Let's get to a couple of the Facebook comments. I know Caroline said, "How are we progressing with the man defense?" I spoke briefly about that. Uh, we're just struggling right now. It's early. A lot of things that we need to work on, and they're minor things like moving your feet instead of reaching. Active feet, chop your feet down on closeout, keep the person in front of you. I mean, it's literally minor things that they wouldn't have gotten a scholarship offer or gotten to Tennessee if they didn't know how to do that. Now it's just a fact of keep pushing it so that they know this is just as important as us running this set the correct way or getting the shot that we want.
And once again, we talked about it Saturday. Somebody's got to talk on defense,
Yes.
and that's not happening yet. Now, part of that is that Kelly will use a lot of players, and Kelly will not run up the score on a team. So when you're shuffling in a lot of players, you're gonna have to get together quickly with your on court communication, and the only way to do that is to learn how to do it. And so, and also, you know how early games are. You start to figure out who can do what before you get into SEC play.
Yeah.
I do like that they're about to play West Virginia and Texas, because you're going to learn a lot in those games, because those are the kind of games that will expose your flaws with opponents who will take tremendous advantage of them.
Oh yeah, and they're coming to embarrass you, and that brings a different type of it should bring a different type of competitor out of you. So I'm excited to see those two games too. Deronda said she lives in between Marshall and WVU and gets all type of flack for being a Lady Ball fan. Stay true. Don't let them change you, okay? And somebody mentioned that Marta and Ray had 11 turnovers combined. Hey, listen, sometimes, and I'm not making excuses, but if anybody remembers how I played, there were games where I was extremely efficient. There were a lot of games where I'm coming down and I'm trying things. So yeah, that's going to give me 3 to 4 turnovers again. Right now, when it comes down to SEC and tournament play and tournament run, I knew I couldn't try as much. So I had to, and Pat quickly, Hornbuckle, come sit down and think about what you're doing, and then get me back in there. So I think that once they get to these WVU, Texas, UConn, everybody else down the line, LSU, like when we get into these games, you won't see that. They'll be more focused on actually executing, not just kind of going down and just doing whatever, because they, like Maria just said, they won't be able to do that. That's the turnover, steal, and the basket on the other end real quick.
And one of Marta's was a lane violation, which results in a turnover. So they're not all turnovers are equal. A dead ball turnover, you're not as worried about. It's those bad passes at the top of the key and a run out and a layup that you're worried about. These turnovers were annoying, but they weren't. Tennessee just kept short circuiting itself. It wasn't like East Tennessee State was forcing these turnovers and scoring in transition. It was just one of those days where, and I never blame officials, because officiating is part of the game. There are some officials that can struggle in a game at times. And with that many whistles, you do get out of the flow. It just was a game that got mucked up after a while, and it's not bucked up, mucked up. So
I was wondering. I thought you was gonna use the phrase. I ain't know.
I was thinking the same thing.
So we all on the same page.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I have said all along that Kelly needs time.
Yeah.
And Tennessee needs time, and maybe some other people, if they were watching this broadcast on SEC Plus, will understand exactly now what I was talking about. It's going to take some time. She's got some talented kids. There's a lot of them that are being asked to perform at the college level as freshmen and sophomores. And even your 2 graduate transfers, this is a huge step up.
Right.
With the expectations that also come from being a Lady Vol. This is a full-time job, and you know that. It doesn't end. On and off the court, it is a full-time job. And they're about to start exams too. And you've got a team, a young team, so they're having their first college exams for some of them. And your mind's going a million different ways right now, because you got to find time to get ready for exams.
Right. And I agree. We talked about time, and I don't know. The best way I think I can put it to the fans is, when we say it takes time, it's not 1 game or 2 games. It might take half of the season for these girls to really click and get. We hope not. We really hope not. But it might take that. And then on top of that, we are still in a pandemic. they're going to be worried about the Christmas break, seeing their family, being able to do this, not being able to do that. I, I, I used to worry about that stuff overseas as a pro. I can only imagine their thought process as young ladies. You know, they're still growing. I know they think they're grown, but they're still growing. So you you have to give them these 2 games for Coach Kelly to really break down the film. I know they did it after 1 game, but now after 2, and then being able to clean up throughout the week and come prepared for Sunday.
It's
That's
also
important.
it's also weird too because I mean the students have gone home. They sent them home
So
before
it's just
Thanksgiving.
athletes, just the
So
basketball.
it's just athletes. I mean the all exams will be taken remotely. So you're not going to class. You're
Yeah,
not seeing. It's just a very unusual. This is a big campus, and you're just the athletes or international students that can't get home. So it's pretty much a deserted campus right now, and
yeah. Well,
nothing feels normal. And but you know what Pat Summit said? You mentally you got to overcome it. You got to reach down and find whatever you can within you. But I mean, Pat never coached during a pandemic either, so.
yeah, and I've never played through a pandemic, so I don't. I can only sit back and say what should happen or when things are regular, what should be happening. Um, so I definitely want to make sure that this show we're going to give you all the truth. We're going to be honest and transparent, but we're also understanding, and that's what we're trying to get the fans to be more understanding instead of so ready to point fingers and what we're not doing. Let's figure out how to keep that positive energy in the air, the positive comments in the air, because whether the coach tells the players to read or I'm sorry, not read articles or not listen to media or not do this, there are people telling them. And then everything's accessible. Everything's on Twitter and Instagram. So they see it themselves anyway. So it's important that they know that no matter what, the fans have their back. Yes, we have high expectations as Lady Ball fans and former players, but we also have to be realistic and patient and positive, and we can get there. I promise you we can get back to the old type of Lady Balls where we were happy to have a target on our back.
I agree. It's coming. I know it's coming. I can see it coming. I can feel it coming. But I will continue to preach. Give it time. Let everything gel. And as far as the turnovers, some yeah they're annoying, but some are hustle turnovers. You're trying to go for a ball that a teammate lost, but you're the last one to touch it, or you're the So it's even if you have 4 or 5, 6 turnovers, not all of those. Sometimes some of those turnovers are assessed to you because you were the one trying to get the ball back.
Yeah, you touch it, you own it. So if you touch it and it goes off of you, that's your turnover. Yeah.
And maybe you were crashing hard to try to keep the ball alive. And I mean, if you weren't playing hard, you could just stand there and let the other team rebound it and off they go. But
yeah,
so I don't really get fixated unless the turnovers are throwing it into the stands like 7 times or something
crazy.
like that. Like Dawn Marsh apparently used to do at Tennessee. She liked the fans to be involved. So.
Hey, sometimes you just make sure they're up. Make sure they're still watching. And we have Olivia Woody, one of my good friends from West Virginia. She said that WVU just put out that no fans can come to the game, only parents. So it's going to be a much different atmosphere on Sunday as well. And Glenda said fans have to realize they are kids away from home for the first time also. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Mentally, we don't know what's really going on. Um, Jeff said, I know Horston said she's going through some stuff off the court. Hope she knows how much we are lifting her up and thinking of her. Love these kids. I didn't know that she said that. That big on reading and doing all that. I'm big on reading, just not articles because I don't want to sound illiterate. But
and actually, that was just tonight because
okay.
I asked Jordan. I said, Jordan, you look tentative, and we're talking about Jordan Horston here, not Jordan Walker. I asked Jordan. I said, you look tentative Saturday. You look more like yourself tonight. Jordan Horston was very much in the flow of the game, and she's such an athletic presence. I mean, she's a 6'2" guard.
Yeah,
so, I mean, Tennessee needs her, and she said that Kelly called her yesterday. It said, just take a deep breath, let go, have fun, enjoy this, play basketball. That's what you do.
You said the most important thing: have fun. As hard as you do work, as serious as it is, as important as it is to stay locked, if the game's not fun, you're not going to play your best because you're always thinking about, I don't want to make a mistake, or you're always thinking about the mistakes that you just made instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to play. I'm going to rely on all the practice and repetitions that we've been through, that I've been through individually, that we've been through as a team, and I'm just going to go play. And I'm going to do it for the love of the game, and I'm going to go out here and play hard and have fun. I
And
think
Jordan's one of those kids like you that if you ask her a question, she'll answer it. And she said, there's some stuff personally off the court I don't want to talk about, but I decided just to let that go. And of course, for a 19-year-old in college, stuff off the court could be anything.
Yeah.
And I want that not just for Jordan, but for every player. It is a very different environment. I mean, the fans are scattered everywhere. Everyone's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Everyone's pushed away from the court. It's as players, it's tough right now. And like we said Saturday, whoever wins this NCAA championship this season, they literally survived this season. It
Oh,
will
yeah.
be a testament to that team's mental fortitude as much as their physical ability to get to that finish line.
Absolutely. It's going to take a little extra. And Jordan, if you're listening, Lady Ball sister to Baby Ball sister, keep your head up. I don't know what's going on, but keep your head up, pray, and know that your friends or your family, your Lady Ball family, your coaches, use them. Call your real family. All right. Hit me up on social media. You need some words of encouragement. Whatever it is, and whoever else is struggling mentally, because I struggle with some things mentally. Just know that you're number one, you're not alone. And number two, rely on people to really help you and uplift you when you're feeling down. Because we need you. We need all you young ladies healthy, physically and mentally on the court.
Jordan Horston is an X factor kind of kid, and she credit to her. She started to end the season last year. She's come off the bench now, but when she came in off the bench, she came to play. She absolutely came to play. She was ready to go. She was engaged. And
Yeah.
I mean, she's somebody. I mean, I'm glad you said that because we're also here to lift up these kids and remember that they're kids and they're going through things that a lot of adults don't realize that they go through. They just see them as basketball players, but there's so much more than that. And Tennessee needs Jordan Horston, and Jordan Horston, I know would love to hear that shout out from you, Alexis, because coming from a former player, that means everything.
Yeah. It's important. We're family. Lady Ball, long orange line never dies, never breaks. So you know how that goes. We're family. We do have a couple of questions on YouTube. Bobby, what we have?
Yeah, we got Big Vol Daddy says patience is a virtue for Vol football and Lady Vols basketball. Patience is a requirement. Stephanie Welch said great points. These have been a few minutes since they posted. You're seeing the challenges in the men's game as well, where there are young teams as well as traditional power struggling early with teams they typically may not. It's an adjustment. And we got a full house over here on Facebook, but I wanted to jump in here and read those couple
No, I
comments on
definitely
YouTube.
appreciate it. Thank y'all for tuning in on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and also if you logged on to the volunteerroadshow.com to connect with us. So thank y'all for tuning in, and of course, big shout out to Orange Mountain Designs for stepping up and making sure Maria and I look good on this show.
Yeah, that's obviously that's where my face mask came from. One other thing I want to point out too is I'll kind of be glad to see a West Virginia or a Texas because they've also got some size and some physicality.
Mhm.
And when you look out there and Cassie and Tamari are just towering over the opponent, I know the officials, they don't mean to, but they favor the smaller kid.
I
I
hate that.
mean, Tamari they wrestled her to the floor and finally at some point called a foul. She had a clean block, Cassie did, and that got called for a foul. It's something I've noticed in every game where the smaller kids get the calls. I'd rather see Tennessee go against a team with its same size. I guarantee you there'll be less whistles because they'll let them play. They'll let those bigs duke it out inside.
I agree 100%. And guess what? That happens at the high school level, AAU level, and myself, Coach Sandra, man, we're going crazy on the sidelines because we're teaching our kids how to play the game, not how to play the game against someone shorter than you, someone top, how to play the game. If you have to worry about, oh, I can't go up strong because if the little one screams or falls, it's automatically. I hate Maria. I hate that. That bothers me to my core because it sends a wrong message. It doesn't happen like that in the men's game. They let the big guy punish the little guy. So why do we turn and reverse that in the women's game? It's almost saying they can't handle that. And now I feel a little disrespected about how that happens.
And if you're the little player, you know it's how it's going to be called. So you just go falling all over the place, and they're like, well. So yeah, so I'll be glad to see the competition step up in terms of size.
Yeah.
Because I think it's better, and I like Keegan Green in a physical game. I want to see what she could do when they allow these bigs to go at it in the paint.
I know I'm excited. Like these next two games, I'm very excited for. I'm excited to watch. Um, Make sure y'all shoot us any questions. Let us know what you see. I mean, I don't know about you, Maria, but I'm kind of interested to see what the fans see. What do they think? I mean, this is part of that show. We're actually here to find that common ground so that we can all see the same thing, within the Lady Vols and what's to come. So if y'all have any insight or questions, please throw them out there anytime you want.
I talked to several people today too that told me they were going to watch in the morning. They weren't staying up late with us, and I said, "Well,
Yeah, I know that's gonna happen. It's late. I just got home at like 9:30, so for me, it was okay. Like I didn't have to stay up, or I didn't have to get caught up in something and walk away. So I get it, y'all. Take your bedtime. Y'all must be a little older than I am. I just say that. You gotta go to bed early.
I'm 58, but Pat said don't give in to fatigue. So
Hey,
here I am.
don't, man, Maria. I wish you could come. You need to make a trip down here. Watch our girls practice and just talk to them from a perspective of seeing all the games and talent and lack thereof that you've seen, and talk to them because you literally say so many things that are exactly on point that we try to teach our young kids that I know Coach Kelly is teaching, the Lady Vols, and they don't understand that people see this. It's not just us going crazy and picking on you. Everybody sees it. Man, yeah, I gotta get you up here.
When we get out of this pandemic, I'd love to come. That's my home state. I love North Carolina, so
Yeah,
I'll yeah, get me out of this pandemic and safely traveling again. And
I got
I
you.
know we all every. I mean, I'll take every vaccine you've got. You just give me all
Oh,
the
you're crazy.
vaccines.
You're crazy. I'm not taking that first one at all. I'm gonna let everybody else be the guinea pigs. Y'all let me know how that goes. I hope
I,
I hope you can live to tell me.
I've got a really good friend in the scientific community, and she said she is not someone to ever push vaccines, and she said take it. I love all the data I see. It's safe. It's good to go. So
Yeah, I'm gonna let you do that one though.
all right, I'll let you know how it goes. But yeah, I'll take them both. I mean,
Hey, hey, you're a beast. I love it.
you
I
can
love
blow dart them at me. Just blow
to shoot me up.
both arms. Let's go.
Oh man. Hey, listen. Yeah, I'm gonna let you take that one. My homegirl. Oh, tell moms I said what up. Tell the whole family I said what's up. And then Karen Vogel said, "Do you think the Deerstone magic is missing?"
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to listen to on the radio. So, but I
Yeah.
want Brian Rice has filled in very well. So now I don't know what the road situation is. I know in the SEC, the visiting team will not have visiting radio. So
Uh,
it's that's not that's in the SEC. I'm not sure what the situation will be for these next two road games, but it's 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 a weird year, and one I know we all want out of safely as soon as we can get out of it.
do
Because
your part. Wear a mask. Stay at home. If you don't have anything important to do, stay behind at home, please. Let's get through this, but we have to do this together. I'm a homebody. I know it's surprising because I was never a homebody before, but I've been a homebody probably for the past, 3 years where I would prefer to be at home but I still like to be able to go out and move freely. And so we know that flu season hasn't even really just really hit us hard yet. It's still coming, people. Let's be smart. We still live in a pandemic. Okay. I will say it again. We still live in a pandemic. Take care of yourself, be smart, and wear a mask.
And wash your hands.
Wash your hands, just like they taught you in kindergarten.
I do want to know who all these people were buying up all this hand sanitizer. Were you not washing your hands for the first, 20, 30, 40 years of your life? I mean, what?
Listen, I'm stocked up on hand sanitizer, but that's thanks to Melaleuca. Like I get all these natural products or whatever. But I will say I wash my hands more now consciously. Like obviously I go to the bathroom, but sometimes like I'll come in the house and just wash my hands just from being out and touching stuff. So I will have to say that I used to not think like that though.
Maybe it's because I have cats. So if you have cats, you have litter boxes. So you're constantly washing your hands. So
Maybe that's it.
That could be it too. But
But
overall, the scoreboard's still on. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, what we got over here?
Let's see if I can.
You got tilted up. Yep, there it is.
Got Volunteer Roadshow and Thompson Bowling Arena. You can't beat that.
Can't beat that.
And Big Vol Daddy said, Alexis, Mickey is my uncle. If you need any dirt on him, I got you.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
So overall, it's a win. Tennessee's 2-0. You got things to work on. You certainly won't go into this next game overconfident and feeling like, hey, we're playing. You realize, okay, whoa, we got some things we need to work on right now. So that's a good. I know you've asked me before who my MVP would be.
Yep.
In this case, I'm going to give it Jordan Horston. She played very well. She played her game. She gave her team exactly what it needed. She put up 12 points. She was aggressive on defense. She had a great game. So shout out to the sophomore for listening to her head coach. He told her have fun and play basketball. Do what you do.
Absolutely. Shout out Jordan for the MVP from 2MC, giving you that love. Y'all, let's make sure we stay tuned. It's kind of late, so we're not gonna keep y'all on here the entire hour. That way Maria can get home and I can go kind of kick my shoes off and relax. I started working back out, y'all. And over the holidays and this pandemic, it's been up and down, and right now it's pretty up. All right, so we're trying to get back down. So I'm sore and tired. As much as I love y'all, I think I need to just lay on the couch for about 30 minutes to an hour. But make sure y'all continue to watch us, continue to stay tuned. Press the like button, press the follow button, leave comments, let us know what you like, what you don't like of the show, what you would like to hear or see more of, because we want this to be a great experience, not only for us on this end, but also for everybody that tunes in with us. And before we close it out, definitely want to thank our sponsors all over again: Blue Water Climate Control, Orange Mountain Designs, Tennessee Tap House, and of course, y'all know I'm everywhere Alexis Hornbuckle basketball. And it's more than just being in the state with me. So if y'all want to do online training, fitness, it doesn't matter. All ages, I cover all of that. That's pretty much why I got my certification to be a certified personal trainer. So, yeah, man, I'm trying to expand a little bit, Maria.
You could probably teach me how to play at least a possession of defense.
Oh, I can do that. If you want to learn, I can teach anybody.
Yeah, I saw you working out some little kid. He was doing step-ups with his weights, and you were hard on that little kid. Like, not coming down so hard and right form. And I'm like, man, Lex is coaching him up.
Yeah, listen, I didn't go through 4 years of Heather Mason not to be able to regurgitate that back to other people. That was 4 years of tough learning and tough love.
I think she was tougher than Pat at times.
Oh, absolutely. That's why Pat loved her.
Yeah. Pat looked like easy to handle if you had a whole afternoon with Heather. You were dying for Pat to take over.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, listen, before we start to close out, and Maria, before you tell the people bye and all that good stuff, Deronda said, I think it would be cool to get like the player of the game to come in and chat and go through the game with us as well. I know there's a lot of restrictions on media and how they can come, especially now. So maybe that's something we can look into, but I don't think we'll be able to do it live on a post game. Maybe we can do a recorded interview and post it. Bobby, Maria, maybe that's something we can put our heads together and see if it's possible.
Yeah, it wouldn't be live because you know how it is after a game. You got media. These kids, it's also late. They got exams and studies. They got to get out of here. So, and they also have obligations with the Vol Network, and so on a podcast like this or any kind of show like this, it wouldn't be possible to get them live after a game. But the advantage is I can at least hear them in the post game.
Right.
And tell you what they're saying. So
right, bring it back. So yeah, Durana, I think that's a great idea. Unfortunately, especially this year, it's not going to happen. Again, we'll put our heads together and see if we might be able to do a couple recorded clips and get the players to, talk to y'all. But other than that, Maria, do you have anything else? Any parting remarks? Anything you want to leave for everyone?
So just follow Go Vols 247. Part of the 247 network. That's where I write. I'll also will put up game coverage, post game videos over there. So they're one of the few sites that cover women's sports and women's basketball. So if you could sign up, that's very appreciative. In fact, there's a 75% off sale. You still got about an hour, 15 minutes for that. So support women who write about sports and support women's sports. That's always we need all we can get. So my closing thoughts are, hey, at 2-0, take it. And for Alexis's sake, please take it to West Virginia next Sunday, because Lex will not hear the end of it.
I will not.
Forever. Until Tennessee beats West Virginia again. So.
And I would rather do a post game happy,
Yeah.
And not ready to rant. So let's do that. Lady Vol fans, we love you. We appreciate you. Continue to watch. Make sure you go support Maria. Great, excellent writer. And make sure you keep tuning in to volunteerroadshow.com. So until next time, go Lady Vols.
Peace.